Welcome back. Well, for Diane Boland, the use of medicinal cannabis has changed her son's life, quite literally. Jack was born with a rare genetic disorder which caused years of suffering, hours of surgery, side effects from powerful medications and seizures daily. Her family's awakening came in the form of cannabis oil, helping to control Jack's condition, but at a huge financial cost, about $3,000 a month. Diane is now supporting growing calls for the drug to be made more widely available on the PBS, helping many Australians suffering from a whole range of acute conditions. And for today's agenda, Diane joins me along with medical expert Dr. Brad Mackay. Good morning, welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Diane, cannabis oil was, as I said, literally life-changing for Jack and as a result the whole family. Give us more insight in terms of what you've endured, what he was going through.
Well, Jack was having 2 seizures every second day, and even on the strongest medications, epileptic medications, we still couldn't control the seizures. And as he's got older, the seizures have become a lot more aggressive. He had brain surgery. That didn't work. Everything came back with a vengeance, the seizures did. So we're at a point where, what do we do next? His neurologist at Children's Hospital said that there was a worldwide trial on, but he wouldn't have been able to cope with it. So he took it upon himself to write to Canberra, and we got the news that he was able to go on it, but it was going to cost. So we thought at that stage we were so desperate, because to see your child going through and having such horrific seizures and feeling so depleted and sleeping afterwards, it was just horrible. So he wrote to Canberra, we got on it 2 years ago, and he went from having 2 every second day to 12 in a year. So it's a huge difference, you know, but it comes at a cost.
Yes,
you know?
And so at the age of 16 he started using the cannabis oil.
That's correct.
And it's, as I understand it, it's a drop under the tongue.
Yeah, it's droplets, and we started very slow doses, small doses, and now we're up to 3 meals morning, 3.5 at evening.
And the difference is just
remarkable.
Extraordinary.
Yeah,
remarkable.
It is. He's starting to. He wants to talk more. He wants to converse. He looks at us now, like, because he's got a whole array of other issues with his genetic disorder. But we've seen such a huge change in him.
And Brad, this is not unusual. I know you're passionate about this. The evidence seems overwhelming that medicinal cannabis can make life-changing differences. Why are some still so sceptical, and even within the medical profession itself?
Oh, totally. There's so much stigma that's still involved with cannabis. And what we're talking about here for Jack, we're not even talking about anything that would make you high. What we're talking about is cannabidiol, or CBD, which is, it sort of tastes similar to fish oil, I'm told. There's no hallucinogenic activity in it, doesn't make you high, doesn't cause psychosis, it's quite safe to use, and it's actually quite cheap to make, which is why it's ridiculous that it's like $3,000 plus per month, just to sort of stop Jack from having horrible seizures. The medical profession is sort of waiting for lots and lots more evidence to come through. We're wanting to do some more trials, and it always seems like we're waiting for the next trial to come. But when Jack's too sick to be part of a trial, then the cost is put on the parents. How
much is it costing you? Just explain.
Okay, so when we first started, for 5 bottles I was paying $3,200 a month. Now we're paying, it came down a bit last year, but his doses have increased. So we go through 1 small bottle every 4 days. It's $400 a bottle.
And the problem being that would be prohibitive for a lot of people,
That's
Brad.
right.
Yeah, so at the moment you have to get it through the special access scheme, so it's not approved for use unless there are particular circumstances. So your paediatrician, your paediatric neurologist has to then apply to the government. There's lots of paperwork that's involved, and many GPs and even many neurologists don't know that much about it at the moment. So access is a major problem.
We were absolutely flooded with responses to this when we put it out to our viewers last night on Facebook, and here's just a taste of what some of you at home think about whether medicinal cannabis should be made more accessible and affordable. Jennifer says, I am very anti-drugs, but I have personally seen the benefits of medicinal cannabis. So yes, those in need should have access to it and it be more affordable. Peter says, just decriminalise it like a large part of the world are doing. It'll slow down the black market and give police more time to focus on real crimes. And Deanie says, I'm not convinced. We need more research into the long-term effects. Brad, are there any long-term effects that we need to be mindful of?
Well, we've got to be cautious about it, and some children have been put on cannabidiol and they've found that that's inflamed their liver, and we still don't know what's causing that to happen. The actual hypothesis is that it could be interacting with the other anti-epileptic drugs or other medications that they're on, and so that could be causing their liver inflammation. So, yeah, kids need to have regular blood tests to make sure things are fine, but as far as sort of cognitive function, we're really going to get a much better response if he's not having a seizure every couple of days compared to any possible side effects that the oil could be causing.
Diane, as you see it then, what are the major stumbling blocks that we're confronted with? It would seem that the public is certainly, on the whole, in favour. They can see the benefits. They hear a story like Jack's and can see it's just common sense. What do we need to see happen? Well,
we need to get it passed through the PBS because my story is like there's so many other people, and there's so many other people out there. I'm lucky enough that we can afford it. I mean, it comes at a cost for us too, but I have to do it for my son. And you know, to see what I see now with my boy, and he's been on such toxic medications, how can I question it? We're anti-drugs too, but it's just it's a pure product. And so far he hasn't had any side effects. So we've really got to make that push, you know, to try and get it available to everybody who needs it.
Brad, I know you're very keen to be in a position where you're able to prescribe it. Give our viewers at home a bit more of an understanding in terms of the vast array of people who this could be incredibly helpful for.
Yeah, so I have some patients who are taking it for chronic pain. They've been able to get off a whole lot of other medications that are causing sedation and even being able to get back to work, which is amazing. So we do sort of see these turnarounds. But other people are on it for other types of epilepsy, particularly with epilepsy with children. Multiple sclerosis with spasticity. That's the one indication that's actually approved in Australia is for multiple sclerosis. But yeah, we're seeing in some of the early trials that it is working with kids. But there is this delay. So this is where science is sort of broken and where the Medicare and PBS is broken a little bit when parents are struggling. We've obviously got a medication that's working.
Yes.
The side effects are minimal, but the expense is incredible. And as we're expecting about 100,000 people in Australia would benefit from having medicinal cannabis in a variety of different forms. But at the moment, there's just over 3,000 people have had it prescribed for them so far. So we're only just scratching the surface. And as we're getting more up to that 100,000 people who could benefit, the price will also come down with more availability and more people using it.
This is just one of those things that leaves you absolutely scratching your head. To me, it just is a no-brainer. But I know the Greens are keen to make it a big election issue. We will keep following, and with great interest, best of luck to you, Diana, and to Jack. I'm glad to know that there's been some level of relief for him.
Yes, there has.
And great to get your insight as always, Brad. Thank you. Keep the fight. Keep up the fight.
Will do.